Hey there, folks. Adam here. Just wanted to quickly get in, go over Rebel News with you. I'm sure some of y'all have heard of Mr. Ezra Levant here. He's the founder of Rebel News. Rebel News has almost like 2 million subscribers, 26,000 videos. So, they're one of the aides of Tommy Robinson. And listen, I just want to suspend a few of my judgments here. I know people might smear this as like a right wing or far left or far right. I want to try to stay away from labels in this video. I just want to touch upon something interesting with regards to Rebel News. Now, all y'all probably know that you know Christians in the United States they're pretty much right now focused on building America, right? Donald Trump and his campaign, as well as a lot of different podcasters nowadays, they're focused on trying to regain control of America, trying to put America first, develop the economy, service the people there, and kind of do away with the old policies, the old way of thinking. And to do that, they want to look at all the different dimensions of their society, American society, um, including everything from the politics, the economy, every single industry you can think of. So, with that being said, I just want to take a closer look at Rebel News. The first question that I want to ask is, why do y'all think that Rebel News never says anything bad about Israel? Okay. Now again, you hear people criticizing America, right? Okay. Is there a reason why Rebel News will never ever say anything bad about Israel? There's no critical take whatsoever. And I just thought that was interesting. Like, you can obviously criticize a country without criticizing the religion, right? So I understand anti-Semitism is a concern for everybody, but what I don't understand is if you want to help Israel, how does it help Israel by just supporting every single thing that they do, right? Doesn't matter who's doing it in Israel, you're just supporting whatever it is, whatever decision the military takes, whatever decision the settlers take, whatever decision the president takes. So I thought that was kind of interesting, first and foremost. And even Israelis outside of Israel here, if they're like I remember they caused a ruckus in one of the European countries. Some of the fans, football fans, I believe, and this gentleman here, Ezra Levant, didn't really um, say a single thing about Israelis, right? There's been accusations of Israelis in Thailand. I'm sure you might have heard about that. Israelis in Thailand, they don't cover that. They don't talk about that. I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, on the other hand, anything that has to do with Islam or Muslims, okay, um, they want to give you the impression that Muslims are taking over America and Islam is taking over America. And don't get me wrong, I understand every single religious group, is going to have their own interests. Every single group of people, Christians are going to have their own, if you want to say, agenda. Muslims are going to have their own agenda. Atheists are going to have their own agenda. Sikhs are going to have their own agenda. Hindus are going to have their own agenda. Buddhists are going to have their own agendas. Jewish people are going to have their own agendas. Ain't nothing always wrong with having an agenda. It's when you want to subvert, control, and manipulate people, then that's a problem. So, you know, I thought this interesting. This video is quite interesting here, and I've done a little bit of homework on this. So I have to ask, when you look at America, right? I mean, when you think about the banking sector, for example, when you think about the Federal Reserve, when you think about the healthcare industry, when you think about the fashion and design industry, when you think about the big social media companies, when you think about the politicians in APAC, when you think about, let's say, even the adult industry, uh, I mean, I don't think a Muslim owns Cornhub. If I'm not mistaken, that gentleman's a rabbi, and of course, to be fair to the Jewish people, they have obviously condemned that. But I'm just saying that if you wanted to, if Rebel News was consistent, right? If they were consistent, they might say something like, "Well, there's a group of extreme Zionists in the United States that want to lure Christian women as according to their Tanakh or in accordance with um, their scriptures or Talmud. I don't know. You know, you use Talmudic law. They say Sharia law. Okay, no problem. Americans don't like Sharia law. I understand, even though you know, Tucker Carlson, a bunch of other these gentlemen, Daryl Cooper, Candace Owens. Again, I'm mentioning these names, Theo Vaughn, because I think they offer a slightly different perspective. You know, uh, even Charlie Kirk recently, right, big defender of Christianity, had some criticisms about Israel. And if you look at how those criticisms were trying to be, I mean, he was, by the way, he was a, I'd say, enemy of Islam. He didn't like Muslims at all, and would openly say things. But the thing is, some of those talking points, again, you got to be balanced when you're talking about people, when you're talking about people that you don't like, or you don't agree with. You got to be balanced, right? Because sometimes too much hatred can cloud the mind. It can cloud your strategy, and we can see what's happening in Israel right now, where they're basically treating Palestinian children and women like full-on criminals and terrorists. Their argument is that all these people are going to grow up to be evil, so we need to wipe them off the planet. And interestingly enough, that's not much different from what the Nazis were doing to the Jews. That's not much different to what the Nazis were doing with the Jews. The same way that the Nazis treated the uh, the Jewish people is very similar to how the Israelis are treating the Palestinians, right? And I thought this is really interesting. Um, Again, if you're a Christian Zionist, if you're a Christian who supports Israel, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I mean, me personally, in the last, I'm not Christian, by the way. I want to be fully transparent with that. I don't like manipulating people. I'm not Christian. But that being said, according to my own research in the last couple of years, I have found that there's seems to be an attempt at a foreign government or foreign entity to want to manipulate the Christian folk in America. Take take APAC for example. Y'all heard of APAC, right? Is APAC controlled by the Muslim Brotherhood? You know, I mean, let's just do a search for APAC in here, see what comes up. Not much, right? I thought that's really interesting. Not much discussion about APAC. Not much discussion about APAC at all. So it's almost like there's this kind of. I mean, there was a recent uh, Israeli politician. I think he was some kind of strategist, maybe cybersecurity strategist. He recently. Here, I'll look this up for you. Israeli Nevada cyber security deported, right? This was a big case. Okay, I understand. Al Jazeera, you might not trust them, no problem, because it has the word Al in it and it has the word Jazeera in it. Although, like I said, I like to take from all news sources and I like to evaluate them all and kind of use my. I don't like to be fed things. I think it's very important. Whenever you're told something, you got to fact check it. So here's the name of the gentleman. Tom Artyom Alexandrovich was released and returned to Israel after being charged with luring a child for you know what. Um, that is kind of concerning, ain't it? That is kind of concerning. I mean, why wasn't this kind of brought up by Rebel Media? Oh, come on now. Y'all didn't even mention it once. Come on now. Again, I've heard different things about Israel, how it's a safe haven for different kind of folk. I'll just leave it at that. Look, again, when I think about Hollywood, okay, let's just, I'm gonna leave it at this. Leave it at this. Hollywood, when they want to insult Jesus Christ, if they insult, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, if they want to insult Jesus Christ, why is it that it's so easy and casual to do? You ever think about that? Why are the directors or that kind of, there always seems to be somebody's fingerprints on these attacks on Christianity and Jesus Christ, where the people who are not necessarily always Christian. Maybe they're atheist. Maybe they belong to a different ethnic or religious group. But it seems very easy to do nowadays, and with very little backlash. And I'm wondering why that is. Why is Jesus Christ protected more in Muslim countries than he is in America? Is that a good thing always? And like, what's your understanding of free speech here? Is your understanding of free speech to get Christians to hate Christianity and hate Jesus? Is that like, again, I'm talking about manipulation here, and I think we have a misunderstanding about free speech altogether. Free speech, as I understand it, when John Locke and the founding forefathers of America, when they talked about free speech, they talked about it, free speech being a tool for challenging the powers that be, a, a medium to hold powers and government to account. They didn't talk about it that you could say whatever you want about anybody's mother or sister or daughter or religious figure. I mean, when I see Christians, when I see Christians hating Muslims for no other reason because they're Muslim or whatever you want to call it, when I see that, it's alarming. And more importantly, in this whole recent war that's happened in the Middle East, when a report came out that said that Israel's next strategy to take the spotlight off what the IDF is doing is going to be to make disinformation spread in America around Hamas, Hamas, whatever you want to call it, and Islam, and make sure that American Christians, start to hate Muslims and Sharia. That was concerning to me, and I think it should be concerning to you as well. I think it should be concerning to all of us in terms of how Christians are treated in Israel. Okay, how are Christians treated in Israel or Palestine, right? It's an important thing that we need to be aware of, right? This gentleman was interviewed by Carl Tucker. Again, whether you agree with Carl Tucker or not, I think it's important to. I mean, the bomb that was the church that was recently destroyed by an IDF bomb in Gaza. Shouldn't that be concerning to all of us? I mean, here we go, Mr. Michael Knowles. I'm glad he covered that. I might not agree with the gentleman all the time, but I'm glad he covered it. Folks, please do two things: pray for guidance for all of us, and do your research whenever you're told something. Don't just hate people. Don't hate anybody. Don't hate anybody who's Jewish, who's Christian, who's Muslim. Don't hate anybody, or rather, do the research, do the homework, right? Understand what's happening. Understand that sometimes we might be manipulated because we might think, oh, friend of our enemy of our enemies, my friend, or whatever. But that might not always be the case. Thank you very much.